What's going on, Jerome's? Minnesota Vikings had a press conference today as offensive coordinator Wes Phillips fed the local media jackals. Now, it was slightly less eventful than Flores' presser yesterday. Oh, man. But Phillips gave some good insight on some things and some stuff on the offensive side of the ball. So let's dive on in. First up, the lead question. Hey, how about Johnny Munt? So Munt and Josh Oliver could and should be valuable at the beginning of the season because, first, Robert Tonyan injured, but also TJ Hockenson. They're probably going to ease him back into things. Probably not going to rush him out onto the field to start the season. So they're going to be the tight end pass catchers. And with Johnny Munt, he's very effusive. He was praised with Johnny Munt. Coming out of Oregon, he was a receiving tight end, became a great blocking tight end. Of course, lots of crossover with him, O'Connell, and Munt with the Rams, and then coming over here, and Munt has been really damn solid over the last two seasons. And Phillips said that he's answered the bell whenever his number's been called, and his number's going to be called early this season. I actually think that Johnny Munt has just a little smidgen of some fantasy football value at the beginning of the year because he'll catch whatever's tossed his way, and I feel like he does have a knack for making some yards after the catch. So it's good to see. Also, King Kene Nwangwu developing as a runner. Talked about how he carved out a niche as a return man. Also, I think that he's going to have a ton of value with the new return rules. Please, I need it. I know that everything's been muted because of the preseason, but ooh. What? We got transactions. They waived Najee Thompson? What is going on? What the hell's going on? Anyways, but with Kene, like you've seen him, he's been getting the bulk of the running back 3 work. They want him to be that RB3 behind Aaron Jones and Ty Chandler. And Phillips talked about how he has matured as a runner. Big props to Kene putting in the work, as well as Curtis Modkins, running game coordinator, running backs coach, putting his foot in the ground and making a cut. Just getting after it. Also, Josh Oliver. We talked about Josh Oliver being more in 11 personnel as well. So he talked about how he's fantastic as a blocker, underrated as a receiver, and hell, 11 personnel. So 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 receivers. I mean, I would love that, especially down in the red zone where. You gonna play base in down the red zone, then we'll just throw it on you. But hey, guess what? If you're out there in sub package and nickel, like, hey, Josh Oliver, he's too fast for a tight end, for a linebacker, and he's too big for a safety. So best of luck. Hell, he's too big for a linebacker as well. Also, play styles. Stressing ball security 2024. Last year, obviously, it was terrible. And also, he mentioned that there was 3 to 5 early games last year, which if the Vikings hung on to the ball and won the turnover battle, or at least were neutral in the turnover battle, they win. Right? All of a sudden, that 7-10 season becomes a 10-7, 11-6 type year. Right? And he stressed 0 tolerance policy on fumbles that game. I mean, Kevin O'Connell said that last year, and then Madison turfed it, and it's just back out there. So we'll see. But also, that could be, hey, that's why we want to put so much work into King Kene. Is like, hey, if Aaron Jones as well as Ty Chandler, if they turf it, Kene, you're in, or something like that. Also talked about more physicality in the run game. Now, the Vikings over the last about decade plus, ever since the Kubiai and whatnot came in, they want to be that outside zone team. So undersized, super quick lateral area offensive lineman running that wide zone, student body left, student body right. But he noticed that the Vikings did have some success last year, man on man in gap, as well as pulling running counters and stuff. So could see more of that. And then, hey, if you're going to do more of that, do more of that personnel. So we can finally get back to having the meats on that interior offensive line. Also, so he was asked about Kevin O'Connell last month or so, dealing with adversity, and he said he's the man. He had a funny line. I'm not up for an extension. He's just a great coach, but he also said, he's known Kevin O'Connell since Washington and then going to the Rams, but O'Connell's been the same guy day in, day out. And I think that's important, where having a steady hand, but also when there is adversity, being that calming force in the storm, saying the right things, doing the right things. And O'Connell, Wes said he just cares about people. I think was very important in coaching as well as any industry. And with Josh McCown, coming in as quarterbacks coach, tons of experience. And Wes had kind of a funny line where he's been in every system available. because since Josh McCown has bounced around the league, and also as a quarterbacks coach, he's got nuggets on every play, concepts like, hey, back in Philadelphia, we did this with Alshon, or Chicago, or wherever. Then I also talked about facing Flores as a defense every single day, because a lot of defenses around the league, they're going to line up and they're going to play. You're going to know where everyone's going to be. But with Flores, it's multiple looks. There's a lot of feints. There's a lot of bluffing. There's a lot of blitzing, and there's a lot of everything. And McCarthy and Darnold have talked about it too, and Phillips just backs it up. Or I think, frankly, that's really good for the offense. You have that crucible out on the practice field every single day against one of the most complex, well, from the offensive point of view, defenses in the league, and just movement, pressing, all that stuff. Plus, Justin Jefferson talked about how he's even more comfortable now, year 3 of this offense. Because remember, Jefferson did start out in the Zimmer adjacent type offense, but more comfortable, more reading of coverage instead of just black and white routes. So he has options. So basically reading what's thrown out there, breaking off his route, having to be in communication and in sync with Darnold, which they have built up that chemistry Phillips talked about. Plus, Jets really being that leader in the receiving room, not just by rah rah sis boom ba, or just by being the oldest guy in the room, which he's not. But Phillips talked about how Thielen passed the torch to Jefferson, and also how Jefferson just sets the tone in terms of enthusiasm, in terms of working every single day, just in terms of running the routes. And like if you watch the alpha in Jefferson put in that work and love the game, like how are you not going to try and up your game? Which leading by example, man. Also, gave some flowers to Trent Sherfield, free agent coming in from Buffalo. 5th team in 5 years, but has size, play strength, good hands. Also is great as a run blocker. So that's something that O'Connell and Phillips has stressed over and over and over again for the receivers. Not so much like running routes, scoring touchdowns, all that stuff. That's great, but can you block? And all the signs are pointing to the Vikings making a concerted effort to run the rock this year, especially with a little more power. Let's go, man. And then lastly, asked about Sam Darnold and arm talent, which generalized statement, sure, but accuracy, strength, arm strength, making off-platform throws, accurate without a platform, throwing on the run, and hey, everyone can throw great when you have your feet under you, you stepped up properly in the pocket, everything's on time, you have a clean pocket and able to deliver a strike. It's great. But also, when poop is going down, or whether you're throwing on the run, whether it's designed or whether it's by design or not by design, it's like, can you make that throw? And he talked about how Sam Darnold does have all those tools. And no one said that Darnold's not talented. It's just, can he get it together between the ears, and can he not just give the ball to the other team? That's what you're looking for, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Wes Phillips presser today, feeding the media jackals, had some thoughts on the offense. Listener, your thoughts are thoughts, his thoughts. You guys know what to do. Skol, production value.